My name's Kayla from Planning with Kay, and welcome back to a video on my channel where I create content all about bullet journaling, where you take a blank notebook, just like this one here, and turn it into your own custom planning system. In last week's video, I covered two of the biggest struggles that you guys have when it comes to bullet journaling: consistency and coming up with different weekly spread ideas. And I thought that this week I would kind of piggyback off that video and dive a little bit deeper into the struggle you guys have of coming up with different weekly spread layouts week after week in your bullet journal. The whole fun of bullet journaling is that every week in your planner can be different. You're not using the same recycled weekly layout week after week, and instead you get to set up your own custom spreads that each week can cater to your specific needs, the specific things that are coming up in your week. And these different weekly spreads keep things fun and exciting and very functional in your bullet journal. That being said, some people get stumped on how to come up with new weekly spread ideas and how to not necessarily rely on needing to copy what somebody else is doing when setting up your weekly bullet journal spreads. Because after all, bullet journaling should ultimately work for you. Nobody's bullet journaling system is going to look exactly the same. So it's important that you kind of figure out how the process looks of coming up with your own weekly spreads that really work for you. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to sit down and set up my next weekly spread. This is going to be for this coming week, and I'm going to take you through the process from start to finish. So including all of the kind of like thought processes that go into deciding what I'm going to be setting up that week in my bullet journal. My hope is that this video maybe makes it a little bit easier for you to sit down with your own bullet journal and craft your perfect weekly spread for whatever week you have coming up. If you do need some specific layout ideas with measurements, last week's video has about 20 different weekly templates that I showed throughout it to kind of give you a starting place if you really don't know where to begin with your weekly bullet journal spreads. Today is really going to be focusing on how you go about customizing your spreads to work for you and what questions you should be asking yourself as you're setting up your weekly bullet journal spread. So with all that being said, let's dive into my bullet journal and start setting up a weekly spread for this coming week. So the first thing I think about when I'm going to set up a new weekly spread is I just need to think about what's going to be happening that week. How busy am I? How hectic is my schedule? Are there any special events happening throughout that week that I should be catering my weekly spread towards? So I'm going to look at my calendar and just kind of assess this coming week. Usually the last week of the month is pretty busy for me, and this is going to be a weekly for June 24th through the 30th. I have 3 live streams that week. I know I'm going to have a bunch of work-related tasks that having to do with the end of the month. So I'm going to want a good amount of space on this spread. Now, one way I like to give myself plenty of space on a weekly spread is by doing a Dutch door. That's where you cut part of the spread. So it basically gives you a whole extra flap as a part of your weekly spread. I think I'm going to do a Dutch door weekly since I want plenty of room for all of my different end of month tasks. The next thing I like to ask myself is, what kind of layout am I trying to do? And I typically think of this in terms of horizontal and vertical. Do I want long lines for each day for my to-do list, or do I want a long vertical list? And this is all up to personal preference, but when I'm having an extra busy week, I tend to like a vertical style. A vertical style weekly looks a little something like this with nice long lists going down the page. And this weekly that I'm using this week is more of an example of one that doesn't necessarily focus on giving me a lot of room for really long task lists. And this is more of like a general overview of the week. So I'm definitely leaning towards a vertical style, and I'm going to do a Dutch door style to give myself even more room. So that gives me my first two important pieces of information about this weekly spread. We're going to do a Dutch door, and it's going to be a vertical style. I now need to figure out how I'm going to create my different sections that I need on this spread. I like to keep things simple with my weekly spreads these days, and I don't tend to put too many different components on the spread. I really just like to have a section for each day of the week, and then a general weekly task list. So in total, I'm looking to have 8 roughly evenly sized spaces on this spread. And I know I want a Dutch door. So what I'm imagining is I'm gonna have a Dutch door where I cut off the right side of this spread. It's gonna create these 2 sidebars on the side of my spread. And then each side of the Dutch door flap, I can split in half. And this is going to give me the columns that I'm looking for. So I'm using my pencil to start kind of sketching out what these columns are going to look like. And my other secret weapon for planning out weekly spreads is a ruler. If you use a standard 5mm dot grid notebook, then you can use a ruler to make measuring and counting out spaces a little bit easier, since each space in your dot grid notebook is going to be 1/2 centimeter. So I like to line up the centimeter end with my dots, and that way I can really easily just confirm my measurements here and make sure that everything is the right size without having to actually count the spaces manually. I'm going to lay my ruler out here, and I'm going to make each of these columns 5 centimeters wide, which means that I can cut my Dutch door off at the 10 centimeter mark. So I'm going to go ahead and take my scissors and cut out this Dutch door, creating these sidebars. And this is going to give me this whole other flap of paper to give myself some more room on this weekly spread. I have a whole video that has different Dutch door spread ideas. So if you're intrigued by the idea of Dutch doors, there's all sorts of different ways that you can take scissors to your notebook to create some really cool functional spreads in your bullet journal. So I'll have that linked up in the cards in case you want to check that out. All right, so my Dutch door is cut. So now I can just kind of measure out the rest of my columns here. So 2 of my columns are going to be over on this page. And again, each one is going to be 5 centimeters wide. And then I'm also going to have 4 more columns on this side. So you can see how by cutting this Dutch door and putting 2 columns on each side of the flap, it is giving me 8 separate columns, which is perfect because I'll have 7 columns for the 7 days of the week, and then 1 column for that general weekly task list. And I'm actually going to scoot all of these columns 1 box in towards the center of the spread, which just means that I can use this center line of the spread as a dividing line between my columns. All right, and now I'm going to draw out the lines separating each of these columns. So you can see how I'm making all of these decisions based on what I need this coming week. And what you need for your weekly spread might be totally different. Maybe you don't have a lot coming up this next week, and you just need a really simple weekly spread to keep track of, a few different appointments you have. Or maybe you really just enjoy the process of setting up your weekly, and it's less about the function and more about the chance to kind of just be creative in your journal, use stickers, create art, whatever it is. So maybe your weekly spread is going to be a little bit more focused on decoration and maybe a little bit less on the function. These needs we have change week by week. Really ask yourself what you need from your weekly spread this coming week. If you want to use it for memory keeping because you're going on a trip, Maybe you have a lot going on with school this coming week and you want your weekly spread to be focused on all of the studying that you need to do. Maybe you need your weekly spread to help you remember your recurring daily habits, things like taking your vitamins, drinking water. So ask yourself these questions, really dig into what you need for your weekly or just what you're wanting to try and build that into the weekly spread that you set up. What I want to do next is start to fill in these sidebars on the side here. So my sidebars are going to be just mostly decorative. Whenever I'm setting up spreads, I love playing around with stickers. You guys know that I'm a sticker gal. Stickers are the biggest tool that I like to use in my bullet journal, and I make my own stickers as well. So I got a collection of stickers before I started filming that I wanted to use somewhere on this weekly spread. I haven't really thought ahead of time as to how I'm going to use these, but I just grabbed some stickers that were calling to me. These 10 sticker sheets that I'm using today are, of course, available in my sticker shop, PlanningWithKay.com, and I also have them all bundled together into a one-click, easy-to-buy bundle with all 10 sheets in case you're interested in using the stickers that I'm going to be using today. As usual, my sticker shop will be linked in the description down below, along with my Patreon sticker subscription and all of my other links. All right, I've been very excited to use these grayscale stickers that I created last month. So I think I'm going to start with these for my sidebars here and go in with 2 of these vertical washi strips. And I'm going to pair those grayscale stickers with these purple peony stickers. So I'm going to start grabbing some of these individual peony stickers and laying them in my sidebars for some decoration that's going to frame this spread. I'm also going to use some of these sparkles from the Sparkly Monthly Header sticker sheet. I'm going to be using this June header on this page as well. But these sparkles are some perfect space filler to go along with the peonies and the grayscale kind of grid washi tape. Now, when it comes to setting up your own weekly spread, don't feel any pressure to decorate your spread beyond the level that you personally enjoy. Your bullet journal can be as minimalist or as decorated as you want. And also don't feel like you have to spend a lot of money to find good decoration for your bullet journal. You can always use things like magazine cutouts, printouts that you find online, crafting supplies from discount stores like the Dollar Store, the Dollar Tree, your local grocery store. And you can stick things in with a glue stick or a double-sided tape roller. But there's lots of creative ways to have fun decorating your bullet journal without feeling like you need to spend a bunch of money on a bunch of extra supplies. I think a lot of us come to bullet journaling because we really like the creative side. Bullet journaling started, I think, as a much more like minimalist planning system, and then the internet kind of ran with it and turned it into this very creative, decorative, fun process. So remember that as you're setting up your weekly to balance the functional side of bullet journaling with the parts that you really enjoy in the setup process. If the setup process brings you a lot of joy, then really focus on the things that you love, whether that's using stickers, practicing your hand lettering, maybe you like painting in your bullet journal or using markers or colored pencils. There are so many ways to get creative and have fun with our bullet journal spreads, and weekly bullet journal spread setups are a great time to sit down for an hour or so and just kind of get creative while also being productive and planning out your week. All right, I know in the upper left corner here is where I'm going to want a little header for the week. And again, this is going to be for, June 23rd through 30th? 24th through 30th. Always got to double check the dates to make sure I'm not messing up the dates, because that is a classic Kayla mix-up. So we're doing the 24th through the 30th. So I'm going to grab that June little header sticker. One way to easily kind of jazz up your bullet journal spread is to Put in some sort of colored marker into your setup as a little accent color that matches your decoration. Even if you're not using any sticker decoration, just having like one accent color on your spread can be a really nice decorative pop. I'm going to get my Crayola Super Tips. These are very affordable and have lasted me for years. I highly recommend them for anybody who loves bullet journaling. And I'm going to look for a purple marker that matches these peony stickers. And I'm going to write in 24 through 30. All right, so my sidebars are done. So let's move into the middle of this weekly spread. I'm going to focus in on the headers for these different columns now. I'm going to go ahead and use these circle and sparkle stickers. These have become a staple sticker sheet for me. I have these in 12 different colors, or maybe 11 different colors, a bunch of different colors in my shop, but I haven't actually used these grayscale versions yet. So I'm going to stick one of these circles on the top of each of these columns, and this is going to be a base layer for my different headers that I'm going to do here. All right, now for the headers themselves, I'm going to have a to-do header on this column, and then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So I'm going to go ahead and use these alphabet dot stickers. So let's go ahead and start with to-do. Good trick for spelling things out with stickers is you can actually use a clear ruler and kind of space your stickers out on the edge of the ruler first. And then you can place that word exactly where you want it and go ahead and stick all of those down at once. This just makes it easier to know that your word is centered where you want it. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and use these alphabet dots to complete the rest of my headers, Monday through Sunday. All right, now I'm going to go in with that same purple marker and put in dates for each column from the 24th through the 30th. And again, tying in that purple marker is just going to bring a little something extra special to this spread. I can never resist a good little quote moment on my weekly spreads. So I think for the second half of this week, I'll have a little peekaboo quote happening on this side of the page. I have this watercolor quotes sticker sheet that I feel like perfectly matches this color scheme. I think I'll do this quote that says, "Always enjoy the little things in life." And I'll see if I can kind of pair that with some more of these peony stickers to kind of bring the decoration full circle. And of course, we need some more of those sparkles. Can never have too many sparkles. All right, at this point, I'm just having a lot of fun with this spread. I'm really loving this decorative kind of theme that I have going on. So I'm going to roll with it and kind of go a little bit more maximalist with this and put some more decoration on here. This is also why I really like going into my weekly setups without too much of a plan. I really love just almost setting up my spreads like stream of consciousness style. It feels like a funny thing to say about a bullet journal setup, but I like to go in and just kind of take it one step at a time. And that way I really know that, that I'm like vibing with my weekly spread and not just committing to a plan I made ahead of time that maybe then doesn't feel right in the moment. And right now, what feels right is putting in some more decoration. So I'm going to put this big peony sticker at the bottom, and I think I want to tie in even another one of these washi strip stickers, maybe one of these darker ones down at the bottom. All right, beautiful. So I have a great base laid down for my weekly spread now. To finish it off, I'm going to actually start to fill this in with the events and plans that I know are coming up in this current week. I'm setting this up on the Friday before this week. It's currently the 22nd. So I have a decent idea of what this week is going to look like, but obviously it's a little bit too soon to start fully writing out my to-do list, but I'm just going to go in and look at my calendars and start moving over any events or pre-known tasks that are coming up for this week. So if I go back to my calendar, I know I have a few live streams happening this week, so I'll start with those. I've got one on the 26th and the 27th. Those are both Patreon exclusive live streams. And then I have a public live stream on Sunday, the 30th. I got out this sheet of sticky notes because I thought this would be like a cute way to highlight these live streams on my calendar. My live streams are my most time sensitive event that I really cannot miss. So I like to make those somehow highlighted or bolded on my weekly spread. And I would think about that, when it comes to things in your life that are really high priority. For example, if you're a student, assignments that are due each day. If you are a parent, maybe certain events that have to do with your kids that you need to make sure that you're not missing. Things like taking your medication or really important daily tasks like that. A good way to make sure you're not forgetting these things is to somehow highlight them in your bullet journal. Make them stand out a little bit more than everything else. And it's a great way to make sure that your brain really takes in that information when you're looking at your bullet journal. All right, now for my general weekly task list that's in this first column. I've really been enjoying coming up with a focus of my week before the week actually starts. And I've been doing that over on this spread here where I have my weekly focus. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a spot on that weekly task list where I'm basically moving over my weekly focus to-do list items into this kind of focus section on my weekly task list. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use one of these daily habit tracker stickers. These are meant as sort of 3 daily habit trackers, but the sheet is very versatile. There's a lot of different ways you can use these little checklist boxes. And I think these are going to be the perfect size for these columns. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to just barely cut off the right and the left line. And I'm going to stick this little box at the top of my general weekly to-do list. Then with my purple marker again, I'm just going to write focus on top of that box. I'm trying to think if I want to actually create my focus yet or if I want to wait until after this weekend, because sometimes it depends on what I get done over the weekend. But I think there are at least a couple things that I know I need to write onto my to-do list for this week. For my to-do list, I'm going to use that purple marker again to create some little bullet points. Since this is the last week of the month, I know one of my focuses is going to be finishing my current sticker collection that I'm working on, which is this frog tea party theme. It is so much fun. I'm going to be working on that sticker collection tomorrow during a public live stream, as well as all of these live streams that are coming up next week as well. So if you want to join me live while I'm designing those stickers, please do, both on the public live streams and on my Patreon live streams. I would love to hang out with you while I design some stickers. I also know that Sundays are when I need to take the trash out, and I forgot to take the trash out one of these past weeks. Both Jake and I forgot, and it is not fun when you have to have trash sitting around for a whole extra week. So I'm going to make sure to write that down. I also know I have a sticker paper delivery coming in this week. And honestly, this part here where I'm kind of pre-thinking about my week is one of the most valuable parts of the bullet journaling process for me. Creating the spreads is not only about using the spreads in the moment, but it's all of this thought that you start putting into the days or weeks that are upcoming before that week even happens. And this is part of the magic for me. Normally, I wouldn't be thinking about my next coming week this early, I would be more in the moment trying to think about okay, what do I need to get done today? What do I need to get done this week? Putting in the forethought really transforms the way that I'm able to get things done and be productive. Already thinking and planning for next week while I'm still in my current week also helps to focus the end of this week. But yeah, generally I love just this intentional time that bullet journaling gives me to think about what is coming up for me in the near future. I find that so useful, and it's something that I don't think I would really do without this practice of sitting down with my journal to plan the upcoming near future. Another set of tasks I know that I can already write in has to do with my YouTube videos. I always post my new videos on Saturday, which means I have them edited and scheduled on Friday. So I'm going to write in edit video, and this video is most likely going to be my plan with me. It's definitely going to be my July plan with me video. It's the perfect time to post it that last weekend before the new month. Maybe I'll even set that up during this Thursday live stream instead of sticker designing and do a live plan with me setup with my $10 and up patrons, and then simultaneously film that and post it on Saturday. So I'm going to write film plan with me. I will also have another batch of Patreon sticker rewards shipping out this week. This month, the theme of my sticker subscription is my Mediterranean lemon sticker collection. So I think I'll just put that on my general weekly to-do list. And the other thing I want to start doing by the end of this week is printing my next batch of Patreon rewards, which is going to be that frog tea party theme, and that will be shipping in the beginning of July. So I should already start printing those stickers by the end of this week. So that way, in the first week of July, I can cut and package and ship out all of my sticker subscription Patreon rewards. So again, I'll just put that on my general weekly to-do list. All right, so I think that's it. I think my weekly spread is all ready for this coming week. And I must say, I love how this ended up turning out. I have been really excited to use these grayscale sticker elements like the horizontal and vertical washi tape and these grid circles. I don't use a lot of like grayscale stuff in my bullet journal. I'm very much color focused in my journal, as I think is clear looking at my spreads. So these like grayscale elements were really exciting for me in a funny way. So I was dying to use them. So I'm very excited that I got a chance, and I love how it pairs with these peony stickers. I always say my bullet journal is both a functional tool and a creative outlet. And the way that those two pieces come together is what makes bullet journaling work so well for me. Oh wait, that totally reminds me. I wanted to also track weather on this spread. It makes sense I forgot about that because I don't normally track the weather in my bullet journal, but since moving to Florida, I feel like it's a little bit more useful to keep track of the weather. So I'm not going to put in any weather icons yet because the forecast is definitely likely to change before this week starts. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this page of these weather icons just kind of like tucked in to the spread here. So that way throughout the week, I can update my weather forecast and stick in one of these little weather icons under each day, or maybe even on top. I'll figure out exactly where I want to put it along with the temperature forecast. All right, so there we go. My perfect weekly spread for this coming week. I hope this video, kind of showed you guys the process I go through when crafting my perfect weekly spread. I never really go into a weekly spread with a clear idea of what I'm going to be setting up. I don't have necessarily a specific layout in my head or specific measurements that I already know. I go into my weekly spread setup process curious about what I need my bullet journal journal to do for me that coming week. And then step by step, I ask myself questions that start to build the spread out in the answers to those questions. So next time you're setting up a weekly spread in your bullet journal, ask yourself, what's the upcoming week like for you? Is it busy? Is it not so busy? What do you want to keep track of in your bullet journal? What do you really see yourself using your journal for that week? And take into account what has or hasn't been working for you in past weekly spreads. Your bullet journal should be adaptable. It should be customized. It should work for you. So don't feel like anything I did today needs to be echoed in your own journal. Your weekly spreads could look and function completely differently to mine, and they should. They should work for you, not for me. So for my week that I have coming up, this spread is going to be perfect. I think this is exactly what I need, and it's really going to help me to stay focused and organized this coming week. And that is what bullet journaling is all about. If you want some more tips on how to create weekly spreads that are unique and interesting and functional every week in your bullet journal, again, check out my past videos on my channel. Last week's video has some direct tips along with 20 different weekly templates along with the measurements to get you started. And I also have a bunch of other videos specifically showing different weekly spread setups. So there's plenty of inspiration here on my channel if you want more ideas on how to set up your weekly bullet journal spreads. And with all of that being said, that is it for today's video. If you liked it, be sure to give it a like. It helps out my channel a lot and make sure my video gets shown to new people. So I really appreciate you liking the video and subscribing if you want to see my new videos that I post every single week, as well as my live streams. I have a live stream coming up tomorrow, again, where I'll be doing some sticker designing, so I hope to see you guys there. Don't forget too that if you liked any of the stickers that I use throughout this setup, I do have them all available in my sticker shop, PlanningWithKay.com, and I also have them all included in a bundle if you want to get all 10 sticker sheets that I used. My sticker shop and my Patreon community and sticker subscription are linked in the description below as always. I will see you guys in my next video, and until then, happy planning. Bye everybody.